one of the important features of contemporary or modern Western liberal society is that these societies have become secular. And when I say secular, what I mean is that where in history the idea that there was a world beyond the material world was taken for granted, that the supernatural was simply part and parcel of life, in the modern liberal world, those ideas have become separated from the inherent way of understanding things. So in a secular world, it's up to you whether you believe in a divine reality or not. It's up to you if you decide that the natural environment has some special meaning or not. I'm not judging this to be good or bad. I'm simply naming that this is the reality of a secular context. Partly I'm naming this because many people come from traditions where that understanding of deeper meaning, deeper purpose, divine reality is very, very important. And yet in a secular world, it can be very uncomfortable to talk about those kinds of things. So it becomes unsafe to explore areas that are required to live with integrity in our daily conversations. And this is a very important challenge for pluralism, because if there is a diversity of worldviews in terms of what the fundamental meaning of existence is, well, then how do we actually find our way? So it can be scary to talk about these differences, which is one reason why the risk of conflict between different, deeper understandings of reality, why we want to put those aside and not talk about that. But when we're talking about things that include life and death, as we are in healthcare all the time, we cannot escape the reality that many people bring belief and value systems that include broader metaphysical commitments. As an example of this, I want to once again refer to the indigenous worldview. And again, I'm not trying to stereotype the perspectives of First Nations peoples, Métis peoples, and Inuit peoples in saying that everybody holds this opinion. There will be variations of this story. Again, I'm drawing on the text Restoring the Kinship Worldview, which tries to articulate or frame dimensions of the indigenous value systems, belief systems, that we have lost, that are at risk of, that have been sort of historically undermined in the way that we have in contemporary liberal Western societies. So as a way of highlighting that tradition, I want to point out some of the dimension of this worldview. So I'm just going to read this text that you're seeing on the screen. It's about becoming fully human. What does it mean to be fully human from these perspectives? The text says, the indigenous goal of living a good life is sometimes referred to by Native American people as striving to always think the highest thought. This metaphor refers to the framework of a sophisticated epistemology of community-based spiritual education in which the community and its traditions form the primary support for its way of life and quality of thinking. Thinking the highest thought means thinking of oneself, one's community, and one's environment richly. Essentially, a spiritual mindset in which one thinks in the highest, most respectful, and most compassionate way, thus systematically influencing the actions of both individuals and the community. It is a way to perpetuate a good life, a respectful life, and spiritual life, and a dynamic wholeness. Thus, the community becomes a kind of center and a context for learning how to live spiritually. I'm sharing this not to defend this worldview, but simply to name that this description of a worldview is true of the people who have lived here for millennia, who have stewarded the land and whose perspectives have been undermined but are legitimate in bringing to bear as we're trying to find our way in the world. Also legitimate are other perspectives about how we ought to live, and we want to think carefully about those perspectives.